This is backwards from the way it looks like it is. This is my inlet of water, so it comes in this side and it goes out the other side. So I just checked the filters. This is a 20 micron, a 5, and a 1 micron. It changes out. It's been approximately a year since we put them in. I think that probably, looking at the pressures on them, they're probably fallen enough to change them out. I'm gonna cut them all open, but I want to let them dry out. I think it'll be easier to cut. So it doesn't really have nearly as much in it as I thought it might. I replaced the one in the basement, which is a 10 micron, a couple of weeks ago, and it was much dirtier than this. But it filters all the water, and this only filters the cold water off the kitchen sink. Okay, this is a 5 micron, and I believe it said that it was an A.O. Smith coconut carbon block filter. I'll pull all the labels off and get good details on them before I cut these open. So this is a 1 micron. Looked like I probably bought this on Amazon. So we're gonna find out if it's a solid block or if it's just a wrap. That was one of the reasons I want to cut these open. All right, there's the 1 micron ready to go back in. 5 micron ready to go back in. And then this 10 micron. The rest of them all have this rubber piece in them, and they're a little tiny bit shorter. That one just sort of compresses down into the two edges, so it's a little bit hard to put on. Turn my water back on. Go ahead and let my air out. Okay, so if you read these now, they've gained about 10 pounds of pressure apiece across here, the gauges. So it was time to replace them. All right, I already started cutting this one just because I want to see if this hacksaw was the right tool. I decided not to let them dry out. All right, here's the original. Here's the one micron one, which I believe was bought on Amazon. And see, it has the small filter material on the outside, but I would judge this to be solid carbon block. So the 1 micron is a solid carbon block. The 5 micron does not have the internal filter, but it appears to be a solid carbon block too. Although I want to take it apart and compare the insides, because this is supposed to be a 1 micron. This is supposed to be a 1 micron filter, and it looks like the 5 may actually be tighter packed. They're glued in about the same way here, and I don't know if I can tell. Here's a piece of that. I guess they look like they're about the same, so I don't know what makes it a finer micron. I'd like to get it under a microscope, but I don't have one. But I still think these flecks actually seem smaller. So I'm guessing that this is actually a lower quality filter, even though it says it's 1 micron. And basically I was just trying to see at what point the saturation stopped in the 20. I'd say that it's all about the same. So it's made of a bunch of different flies to this core, which is I think some kind of plastic, but I would say that that's probably pretty accurate to the pore rating it was supposed to be. I just think that 1 micron probably wasn't, and I'm not really upset about that. It did a good job of pulling the smells and the taste, and I got a good filter out of those 3 filters, so if I continue to use those 3 filters, I'll still be happy with it.